Hey yo, welcome to another edition of Hey Yo with D Shelton. I'm your boy, that dude, that host for this show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, Del Rico Shelton. Sorry about not talking to y'all for the past couple weeks. As I told y'all, every once in a while I take care of what I consider my mental health. And over the past couple weeks, I saw things in the news and sports. I'm like, you know what? Sometimes it ain't worth talking about, especially since I regurgitated some of the stuff. But today is pretty special. As I'm recording this, it is July 14th. And let's just get right into it. I'm probably not going to be on this long because I'm still processing a lot of information. We had an assassination attempt on candidate and former President Donald J. Trump, which I am shocked, but not shocked. I am sad, but not sad. I am concerned, but not concerned. Let me explain. I want to say I may have been 7 or 8 years old when Ronald Reagan, and I want to say it was 82, there was a failed attempt of an assassination of then President Ronald Reagan. Fast forward to the year 2024, and we have one right now with the attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump. I'm sad because it was an attempt on someone's life in America, and this shouldn't happen. To be perfectly honest, this shouldn't happen. And I'm sad because the gentleman lost his life, and for what reports have shown me, two women were injured severely. One person, like I said, lost his life, and Donald Trump gets grazed in the ear. I make no mistake about it that I am no fan of Donald Trump. He's a narcissist and sociopathic liar. He incites violence. And on the right side, they swear that no one incites violence on their side, which is complete bullshit because history shows it's their side that does it. The attempted assassin's name was Thomas Matthews, 20 years old, basically a kid. As I'm recording this now, authorities are still trying to find a motive of why he did what he did. Also, he's a registered Republican. That doesn't shock me because I keep telling y'all there's a difference between MAGA and real Republicans. From sources, he looks, if you can look at his picture, and I'm not going to show his picture. He looks a bit nerdy. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I was half nerd and half athlete. Nothing wrong with that. They did say that he did contribute $15 to a Democratic liberal campaign, Act Blue, right? And it looks like he shot the president, I'm sorry, former president, candidate now, Donald Trump, with an AR-15. And, like I said, unfortunately, those People were injured, and one unfortunately lost his life. Donald Trump has set up a GoFundMe for all three of them. I would say that's a good thing. But also, me personally, if you're a quote unquote billionaire, you should just pay for their stuff, especially the gentleman that passed away. From all the media reports and a lot of the stuff, I will admit I trust, but I don't trust because media nowadays tends to spin the narrative one way or the other. Apparently, the assassin, the attempted assassin, excuse me, was on a one-story building of roof while I keep saying President, former President Trump was giving his normal crazy rallies for Mac. Shots were let off. Trump apparently feels like he got hit in the ear. He looks. Secret Service jumps. And there you have it. Here's my issue. And I want y'all to listen to me and listen to me close with this, what I'm about to say. Again, I'm no fan of Donald Trump. But also, I'm a firm believer in karma coming back to people. For everything this man has done to people, businesses, his wives, I said that plural, inciting violence January 6th, inciting other things, and, kind of praising the guy that hurt Nancy Pelosi's husband on Truth Social and Twitter. You can still probably see those things. Google those. This was bound to happen, unfortunately. What I also have a problem is he's going to use this as a photo op. The Republican, the RNC, the Republican nominee committee, the Republican nomination convention, excuse me, is happening in Milwaukee, Wisconsin tomorrow or today. Or if you're hearing this, let me clarify. It's starting on July 15th. I think Donald Trump is going to speak on Thursday and may let us know who his candidate will be running mate, for vice president. It's amazing that it's taking him this long to even get a vice president nominee if he says so. But that's neither here nor there, this situation. My problem right now is that he's going to use this to sell merchandise to you all. I can see right now the t-shirts, the mugs, and the hats with his face on it with the little blood smeared. And you all will buy it, and it goes to his pockets. I keep saying that this man does not care about you all. But y'all won't believe me. You won't believe what's in front of your face. He does not care about you. He does not care about America. He cares about nothing. He cares about himself. And unfortunately, like I said, people lost their lives and got hurt. And what doesn't sit right with me I watch, and this is crazy. I watch Fox News, I watch MSNBC, and I watch CNN. All of them kind of are in step. President Joe Biden has actually contacted Donald Trump himself. And more than likely, he's probably going to get Donald Trump more Secret Service. And the Secret Service right now, their funds are pretty doggone low. There was millions of dollars spent on Donald Trump for 4 years with his trips to between Mar-a-Lago, his golf courses, and him just doing whatever he wanted to do. But that's a subject for a different time. What kind of perturbs me, and maybe I'm too critical, over analyzing. I don't go with conspiracy theories, but something in my soul doesn't sit right about this for some reason. A 20-year-old kid gets on top of a one-story roof, and to my knowledge, Secret Service and the local police and SWAT departments, they scope the whole areas when there's open rallies or open political conventions, things like that. They make sure every I is dotted, every T is crossed. And somehow this one-story roof is wide open. And the assassin somehow sets up, climbs a ladder, sets up, and fire off shots. Something doesn't sit right with me. It's in my soul. Something doesn't feel right. As soon as he got shot, I mean, with his, get hit in the ear, Secret Service rushes as they're supposed to. You hear the audio of one of the Secret Service men saying that the assassin has been detained. He's no longer with us. I'm trying to be as nice as I can. And you hear Donald Trump, let me get my shoe. To my knowledge, Secret Service is supposed to cover him almost from head to toe. And they don't give a damn about your shoe. They don't care about nothing. Their job is to cover you up almost like a tank, as a bubble. Somehow Donald Trump takes this as a technical photo op. His head is exposed and he's doing it's like fight, fight, fight. From Donald Trump is scared of blood. He's squeamish on it. He said that himself openly. Also, at that point, whoever Secret Service is protecting, they have no control. They're covering your head and damn sure making sure your head does not pop out. Because what if there was another assailant there and Donald Trump pops his head out? That's a kill shot. It only takes a real sniper or anybody that's a decent marksman. It only takes a half a second for them to get that and boom. Something doesn't feel right. And another thing that just baffles me, within 30 seconds, they said they had the guy after Donald Trump was shot. The distance from what is said in certain reports is between 100 to 150 yards of where the assassin shot at Donald Trump. Unless not even Hussein Bolt can get you to 100 yards in 30 seconds with a crowd of people, something doesn't feel right. Also, the gun was used was an AR-15. Anybody that listens or sees this podcast, I'm going to ask a question, and I really want to know this, honestly speaking. As a guy that's seen some shit, from that distance with velocity, even if it hits my ear here, Shouldn't like a good portion of my ear be gone, especially with the AR-15, not a flesh wound or something just going through? Like, it's not adding up to me. It doesn't feel right. Now, I'm not saying there was a not an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. I am not saying that. I just have questions of how did this only really. I need to. I normally don't watch the RNC convention. I want to see Trump and I want to see his ear. If those that are just regular listening and those that are looking at it out, if I'm correct and you get hit from that velocity with that speed, shouldn't a good portion of your ear be gone? I'm not saying the whole ear. I'm saying like the top crevice of the ear. Like if you go from one side to almost cutting diagonal, or even a big gap, a big hole, it's not adding up to me. I have questions. To my knowledge, Secret Service should have actually been the one on that one-story roof. Especially you scope the whole area and it's open. If it's a closed setting like an arena things, okay. But even still, Secret Service is in every part of the arena. To my knowledge, Secret Service is supposed to be on even on certain rooftops to make sure so they can scope everything and everybody. So I'm thinking Secret Service should have been on that roof where the assassins tried to kill Donald Trump. Why wasn't Secret Service there? Something doesn't feel right. I have questions. And I'm not saying it's staged. I have my own theories that I will not disclose on this podcast. But the questions I'm asking, you can kind of get where I'm going. A person lost his life and two women were critically injured. Could this been negligence on Secret Service and the police department's part? Could this been an inside type of job? Or could this been a staged incident that went awry? I don't know. But once again, I have questions. And as a matter of fact, some reports said that one of the bullets hit the teleprompter and glass hit his ear. Now, the reports I've seen on that is mostly, to me, what I consider junk websites. A lot of where your conservatives go to y'all get y'all stuff instead of regular news sources. And no, I'm not always talking about CNN, MSNBC, or Fox News, or Lord knows not Newsmax. If I want something neutral, I'm gonna look at News Nation. But I'm speaking like Al Jazeera, Politico, BBC America, things that will cover America, but they are damn well super neutral because they don't have any skin in the game. But again, I have questions. And it's irking me. It really is. It's irking me. Antennas are up. Now, there are all, in one day, I've heard so many people say because of this shooting, Donald Trump will win the election. I can beg to differ with that. Oh, he's going to get a lot of turnout. He's going to get a whole lot of donations. But if someone's trying to take you out, and the person's a regular Republican, and so far they have went to the young person, the young assassin's house. I'm not going to call him a person at this point. And the FBI and others are trying to figure out what is his motive. So far, I have not found a report saying about his motive at all. And I'm sorry, my phone is buzzing because I'm looking for. I got notifications coming that will maybe help me deduce what the hell did we just see. But back to the assassin. They can't. So far, they have not found anything to say he had any real motivation to do it. Me as a dude that's seen things out in the streets, you don't need motivation too much to try to get somebody. If they want to get you, they're gonna get you. So the obvious thing is to me is that Donald Trump was. This is just my deduction. What I'm thinking, I'm saying deduction, like I'm deducing. The assassin thought Donald Trump was a threat to America to the point that he wanted to take him out. That's motivation. That's common sense motivation to me. Why FBI and others are trying to make this bigger than what it is? That's the motivation. This is why I say on the flip side, if you really want to look at the flip side, this man is such a threat to democracy in the United States and incited so much violence and hatred and anger that somebody wants to get rid of him, period, in order for the country to move on. I keep telling people MAGA's a cult. There's MAGA and then there's real Republicans. The real Republicans, or as MAGA like to call them now, rhinos, are leaving by the droves. Again, with everything going on, I have questions. Hopefully, we'll get answers to those questions in the next coming weeks. Because this is just insane. I am tired of living through history making events on a consistent basis. Because that's what keeps happening, seems like every couple of years, ever since this man has bogarted and took over the Republican Party. So much so that attempt on his life was almost carried out. If that does not tell you something, and I know those that are looking at me and listening to me and say, Donald Trump is fighting for me and he took a bullet and yada, yada, yada for me. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He took a bullet because he's Donald Trump, a sociopathic, narcissistic, habitual liar, an adulterer, a cheat, and a rapist. This whole thing took the heat off the what it was the Epstein files because his name is all through that. This gets you stopping about 2025, Project 2025. It stops the media from talking about because they were about to blow that up. It gets a real. It stops talking about Agenda 47, which they was also going to start talking about. It made this shooting makes Donald Trump a sympathetic figure. That's I feel sorry for his youngest son. Someone tried to take out my father. That's traumatic for anybody, any child, any adult. You know what I'm saying? Because we're a child to somebody. So for Donald Trump's children, that's like, what the hell? But as for the man, I feel sorry that someone attempted to take him out. But I'm not sorry because my common sense said something like this was going to come and try, and someone was going to let me someone was going to try this, and I'm picturing my words as I close my eyes. Copycats will see what went on and possibly attempt again on him, President Biden, or anybody in the Congress or Secret Service. I'm sorry, not Secret Service, or the Supreme Court. We are about to have complete anarchy. And again, as I'm speaking here, and conservatives, MAGA, listen to me, corporate Democrats, liberals, regular Democrats, I'm telling you what common sense should tell you. You all got to stop living in this bubble. Rodney King said a long time ago, can't we all just get along? And now, to answer that, Rodney, and may you rest in peace too, no. We can't get along until the weeds have been taken out of Congress, the Supreme Court, and even technically to me, the presidency. Because Congress has been bought and paid for. Therefore, in the sense, if the Congress is bought and paid for, the president has been bought and paid for just by default. The reason why I mean by that is because, once again, I want y'all to Google the duties of the President of the United States. He cannot make any laws. He can make sure the laws are enacted. Congress really runs the country because they make the laws that we live by. There's too much money in politics. Take away the money, you'll get pure people. Both Republican and Democrat. Pure people. Take the hate out. Mostly on the right side to me, but on the left side too. Because I think Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz have no business being in politics. Lauren Boebert is a blooming idiot. Marjorie Taylor Greene is has too much hate in her heart, and also is an idiot. And Matt Gaetz is just damn. And to my knowledge, there's been not one bill that they have actually sent out that's been passed. Not one of them from all three. But they're taking money that's been approved on of bills that they have voted against. That's what I mean by get rid of those people. We have gotten to the point that our politics and our livelihoods are so stressful because of 435 people, including the president. You're worried more about who's on president than who's actually really representing you. And honestly speaking, what I think about this part of it, before I change the subject real quick, I blame mainstream media for this. I really do. What you mean, Rico? Well, let me tell you. You knew, and if you go back to even Fox News, when Donald Trump came on the scene, when he questioned Barack Obama's birth certificate and started saying stuff, you all kept giving this man a platform. I remember Lindsey Graham pretty much saying Donald Trump, it was almost, in his words, almost an idiot, not paying attention to him. Hell, he disrespected Marco Rubio. He called Ted Cruz's wife ugly, yada, yada, yada. They were battling with him at first until they realized that because he spoke to a disenfranchised people that they helped ditch the franchise, then they got on board. I believe none of them can stand Donald Trump behind closed doors, but they caused it because what else did this downtrodden people have? He spoke their language. Back to the media. If you would have nipped this in the bud and not give this man any coverage at all, none of this would happen. If you would have called him out on his bullshit when he first came into, growing his power, you should have called him out. You didn't. You just, this is harmless. Is it harmless now? This is 8 years of bullshit. Technically 10. A decade that you all could have knocked this out. If you would have did the right thing and called him out on bullshit, and I'm talking CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, the three main ones. January 6th will never happen if you would have called out his bullshit so he wouldn't have got into office. The assassination tip on his life wouldn't have happened if you would have called his bullshit a decade ago. He wouldn't have been nowhere near power. Our democracy is being threatened because of this man. Because you wouldn't call him out on his bullshit. You gave him a platform. I wouldn't have gave Donald Trump a nickel of airtime. And every time he said something, I wouldn't applaud him and say, oh, or egg him on. No, you should have destroyed this from the beginning. So it's your fault. Media, Republican Party, it's your fault. Because this is the way the media spins this is always against the Democrats. I'm gonna ask you a question. A legit question. Republicans, do you have anybody else besides Donald Trump that can do anything? And what I mean by that is there anybody in line that could speak to the American people and get them to see a point of view? Besides a 78-year-old sociopathic, narcissistic man who has now had his life has now been in jeopardy from an assassination attempt. Forget the Democrats and the 80 some odd year old Biden, because I can name several people that could do well and possibly become president of the United States. Do you all have anybody? That's the scary part. As the world progresses on one thing, you all are still in this bubble of the 1950s and 60s. This is why Project 2025 is so important to you all. The Heritage Foundation, I should say. This is insane to me that we have gotten to this point in our lives that every time I turn around, we are living through a historical moment. When and Dan Rather called out Sean Hannity years ago, said, you are what's wrong right now. Because it's not factual news anymore. Even to CNN, I've noticed, have gone away from actual factual news and in a sense, doing the Fox News spin on a lot of stuff. Ever since Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon were fired, this is what we're getting. That's why CNN's ratings are tanking right now. I know their ratings tanked when they kept throwing this bull crap on Biden, saying he's too old. Was he too old for the last 3.5, 4 years when he did the infrastructure bill, chip bill, and other things? Got rid of student loan debt for millions of Americans. Well, he was too old then. Name one 80-year-old person that don't mess up a name too, or is like this all the time. I'll wait. 9 times out of 10, you can't find one. But you're not worried about a man now who's had his life almost taken. Get the fuck out of here. And speaking of getting the fuck out of here and bought and paid for, before I get up out of here, Clarence Thomas, you can click on my screen. And this is from Newsweek on July 11th. Article by Gerard Roche. I apologize if I butchered your name. What I'm about to read is something that should have been looked at years ago. This is what I mean by things being so complacent with bullshit and everything. Excuse me. A letter from two Senate Democrats alleging that the U.S. Supreme Court Associate Justice Clarence Thomas failed to disclose a yacht trip to Russia and raised questions about the court's longest serving member. Senators Sheldon Whitehouse and Ron Wyden sent a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland on July 3rd, accusing Thomas of failing to disclose gifts from billionaire Republican donor Harlan Crow and asking Garland to appoint a special counsel to investigate the matter. Continuing, Whitehouse is the chairman of the Judiciary Committee on Federal Courts, and Wyden serves as chairman of the Senate Financial Committee. The senators' list of likely undisclosed gifts and income from Crow and his affiliate companies to Thomas, including a 2003 yacht trip to Russia on a private helicopter flight to a palace in St. Petersburg, the hometown of Russian President Vladimir Putin. What does a Supreme Court judge have to do with going to Russia, financed by a billionaire? That don't seem strange to you? If it doesn't, you're not using your common sense. His wife tried to overthrow the election in 2020, but he's still a judge. Clarence Thomas needs to go. A billionaire owns a Supreme Court judge. What are you all not seeing? He got bad and pretty much got rid of DEI programs. He helped that. Affirmative action, he helped turn that around. The same affirmative action that got him his degree. Helped him get into school. I don't think we need it anymore. Let me explain something. And I want y'all to listen close, conservatives, Republicans, corporate Democrats, regular Democrats, or just ordinary good fucking people. The Civil Rights Act was enacted 56 years ago. I'm 49. I know people that are older than the actual years that the Civil Rights Act has been enacted. So If you think black people and other minorities are all of a sudden can get on par with white people, rich white people, in 56 years, after 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, and other laws, you stupid as fuck. 56 years. And we got a Supreme Court justice who's been bought and paid for by a billionaire. If you don't think something's wrong, you're dumb. But Rico, what about the others? I'm not worried about anybody else. And Clarence Thomas is a black man, if you want to call him that. So this is a brother, a black man, telling the world another black man should be gone. I'm going to say this again before I get up out of here. All courts, no matter how you want to think about it, should be technically liberal. The reason being, and I don't like using the word liberal when it comes to that, but it has merit in this situation. The courts are supposed to protect the rights and laws of every person in the country. Children, dogs, animals, whatever you want to say. That's the point. The courts have no business helping out any ideologies. And to be technically specific, religion and your belief system in that has nothing to do with the laws of the people. That's your belief. That's not supposed to be law. The founding fathers of the country wanted to make certain that the separation of church and state stays that way. Over the past 20 plus years that I've been looking at politics and things a little bit more closely than most people, you have tried and are honestly incorporating church into with the state, and it shouldn't happen. The founding father and the people that say, well, the Bible and the things were part of the Constitution, where, bitch? And I'm cursing now. Where? It has nothing to do with the Constitution. Hell, Thomas Jefferson, if I remember my history correct, said the Constitution, every amendment should be looked at and amended every 19 to 20 years for the next generation. In other words, Thomas Jefferson knew the foresight that the country would have to change, that the country would be changing. That's called progression. I'm done with today's podcast. So I'm about to get mad. To summarize, once again, my condolences goes out to the gentleman who lost his life. I can't recall his name right now, but my condolences to him and his family. And also speedy recovery, and hopefully the two women who are affected in the shooting, the assassination attempt of Donald Trump, will pull through and be fine. I got questions on the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. And until more things come out, I'm still going to have questions. But as a country, we should not be assassinating any political leader, regardless how you feel about them, him or her. Let me make that clear. It was a coward move, regardless if you like Donald Trump, which I can't stand him. or love Donald Trump, or hate Joe Biden, or love Joe Biden, just for another example. You should not be trying to assassinate your political leaders. The more things change, the more things stay the same. America is violent as fuck. I said this to one of my best friends. America's a third world country with a Gucci belt on. The reason why I say that is because everything that we see is always repeated, but nothing changes. It's just window dressing until the problem, which I always say it again, is those 435 people that refuse to even reason with each other for the common good of the people, gonna have a problem. We need more than these two parties. But again, that's another subject for another day. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Oh, I forgot to mention that Hey Yo is sponsored by Rose Sweets LLC. That's Rose Sweets LLC, the best cake pops and cupcakes in the DMV area. You can reach out to them on Facebook and Instagram at row_sweets_LLC. You can also contact them at rosesweetsllc@gmail.com. Also, thank you for Riverside.fm for allowing me to use this platform to get it out to the people. And please like, share, and subscribe to Hey Yo with your boy D Shelton. I greatly appreciate this as the subscribers are growing. Even though I do take time off from time to time, again, mental health is very important to me. Hopefully, I can give y'all some more good stuff next week. Hopefully, I can give y'all some sports stuff. Cause I'll give you my takes. Don't worry, my basketball peoples. I'll give you my takes on summer league and everything. But until that time, may Father and the ancestors take care of you, your loved ones, or anybody else that you care about, especially in these crazy times we are living in. I see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.